Hey, everybody, it's Dean Jackson. Welcome to the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast. Here we are, Winter Haven, Florida, and today we have a treat for you. We're going to meet someone like you've never met before. We're going to meet Greg the Moose Man Johnson. He lives up in Michigan and has one of the most interesting lives I could see. People who are, he hunts hogs for a living. So this is great. I'm excited to see you here, Greg. We've been talking a lot on through our email mastery adventures, but I'm excited to have you here.
It's great to be here. I've got a lot out of the program. It's been email mastery. It's been a real great asset.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to talk all about it and maybe hatch some new evil schemes along the way. But look at this background you've got here. Just for if people are listening audio, what are we
We've
working
got
with?
wild boar. The wild boar.
Wild
Yeah.
boar. Could you imagine? If that wouldn't bring out your primal urges if you ran across one of those in the woods, that would be something.
Oh, yes. It goes right back to the dawn of time. The wild boar, it's historical. The first hunters slayed the beast and brought home the bacon. And with bacon, we needed fire. And with fire, civilization. We all owe a lot to the wild boar.
Oh, wow. Well, this is something. So, Greg, I want to start in the beginning and maybe talk a little bit about the Greg Mooseman Johnson story. Maybe give us the 10-minute version of how we got to where we are right now, and then we can talk about what the business actually looks like and your plans for going forward here.
Yeah, the mindset for the business came back, and right after 9/11, I was on a big adventure. I've always been an adventure kind of guy, and I was up in Alaska on the Brooks Range, and I'd come back from that trip, and I don't know if it was a full-blown epiphany, but more of a paradigm shift. I left my engineering career behind and decided to hunt and fish my way through the last phase of life. So for 20 years, I did the hunting. 20 years I did the engineering. And then that life changes. People go through those, and I think you get an opportunity to make your own choices. And at 50,000 feet up over probably Seattle somewhere, I made a decision to open up a hunting and fishing business.
Wow.
When I got home, I put together Bear Mountain Lodge and got the Blue Water charter boat and then the wild boars.
This is great. So did you grow up hunting? Have you been always, a huntsman?
Well, I did the wilderness.
Okay.
I remember my first memories were fishing when I was just 2 years old. My dad took me on a wild and scenic trip down the Paint River with his best buddy and his 5-year-old son, and I got hooked. And I hunted, but my dad didn't. I hunted with my best friend. His dad took us, and there's kind of an archetypal component, when it comes to hunting. And I awakened that on a self-guided trip in Alaska with my best friends from college. So not always, but I had been exposed to it. We see that today. Young people who are exposed to certain components in their life are able to draw on those 40, 50 years later and really find stability in their life. And as we go through our midlife crises, if you will, I was 46 when I built this and left my career. And it's been just, fabulous that way.
And so how did you choose Michigan? You're in northern Michigan.
Well, right up on the headwaters of Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. To the south, water flow to Lake Michigan, and to the north and east side of the state, it flows to Lake Superior. Well, I was born in lower Michigan and went to the community college, and then I was always involved with conservation and natural resources, and I ended up going to Michigan Tech, the engineering school of mines up in Houghton, right up on the tip of Michigan. And I studied hydrogeology and geophysics, and I toured the United States, different parts of the world, solving complex geophysical and hydrological problems and solutions for them. And my wife went to school at the Tech. And when we got to the point where we were successful, we decided to open our business up here and we ran 5 offices in the upper Midwest. So I did a tour with the international firm and kind of came home after I had put a few miles behind me.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. And so, how did the business kind of evolve? How did it take off? You found the property and you thought, this is the place. This is what I want to. This is what I want.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm a really analytical guy, not by wiring, but by training. Trained in math, sciences, physics, and I had a very good customer of mine that was a big developer, and I got to shop properties and find the exact location, the exact property with the bedrock ridges, the upland hardwoods, the hidden valleys, the cedar forest, the big transition where the hemlocks and balsams are.
Right.
So, no brainer. It was easy.
It was the perfect fit. How many acres do you have up there?
This unit's on 125 acres.
125 acres. So lots of room to roam. How many boar do you think there are on the property? Do you do a
I've got one extra. I've got one extra. So if you're ready to come up, I'll invite you. We'll meet you at the airport. It's only 20 minutes away. Well, we have plenty. We've got plenty of boars.
We've got one extra. That's the best. We need to get him thin it out. Come on up.
And he's been causing trouble. He's been tearing the place up, chasing the girls. He's been misbehaving, and it's got your name right on it. Now, there's two types of people. Those people, that live to eat, and those that eat to live.
Okay.
Now, those who like bacon, oh, man, they live for eating. Yeah. And that's the kind of people we bring in. And it's kind of, when you get drilled down on that, when you eat the wild boar, you pick on the attributes of the wild boar. So what you eat reflects back into you, obviously.
Wow.
Absolutely. The kings of England, they slayed the boars and put them on their shields and coats of armor. The heraldry of the wild boar goes way back.
Wow.
The czars of Russia, Hercules on his fourth trial slayed the big boar on the snow.
Wow.
So the boar, so I call it romancing the stone. It's a great business to market too, because people connect. If they want to go out and harvest their own.
Yes.
So we're in a state, so people come here, they expect to come home with, good farm products, if you will, hams and bacon and sausage. Oh my, extra thick pork chops.
Wow. So, do you, so it's so funny. My friend Tucker Max he bought a ranch in Texas a few years ago, and he's been raising cattle, and he just posted he had the first of his cattle that was raised on his ranch, never left the ranch, and was killed and processed on the ranch, just yesterday or 2 days ago. And they, he had a mobile butcher came to the ranch and helped process and carve up, I guess, into the cuts. So he had all these coolers full of the meat that he was able to process from. So talk about like a feeling of being self-sustaining in a way, right? Like having that right there. Do you process the boar right on the property there, or do you? How does?
I shipped $1,500 worth of boar down to Florida, not far from you. Depends on what you want. This weekend we had a daddy-daughter hunt. Okay, father-daughter. Now dad is much older. He's 77. Daughter's 20. First hunt, first kill. So what we did with that, he's a real woodsman, an outdoorsman. And, really wanted his daughter to experience it. So he had the animal skinned and quartered, and they're going to do the processing, the inner loins, that's your tenderloins, and the backstrap, that's your extra thick butterfly, Now, other people, they like it to come out of Omaha Steakhouse, vacuum sealed, labeled. They want the inner loins whole, the tenderloins butterfly, sealed into packages. When I was a kid, mom fed 5, 6 kids at a time, plus a couple neighbors' kids. So, people don't even buy whole chickens, if they really like to enjoy themselves, they will. But, people are buying things cut and pre-packaged for them now. And that's what we do here. We go through a cut sheet. What do you want to say?
That's what I'm wondering is, if I come and do a hunt with you, then if I kill a boar, then everything, you'll take that and have it all processed then.
Oh yeah, that's part of what we call the gem, the guest experience, the model,
right, yeah.
And that's all done. But you walk through all that, and you think about the cuts. And some people like to know ahead of time. What's on the cut sheet? And And then they can have that done. Oh, how do you like your grind? Because wild boar makes spectacular sausage. Italian, breakfast, spicy, what's your flavor? And that is all sealed really nice.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun for showing up at somebody's house, gifting the package, jaws in the sink or in the fridge. It's not a messy, there's no mystery meats in the freezer.
I'm
it's all right.
It, like if I come for a weekend and we kill a boar on the first day, are we having bacon the next morning? Like if you're fishing, you catch the fish and you're filleting it up for dinner? Is it that
Yeah,
good?
that's exactly what we do on the fish. We have fresh fish that afternoon.
Right,
we call that the captain's catch.
Okay.
And then the wild boar, we try and eat bacon on every meal. It's kind of a, it's not really hunting and fishing. So that's real important to be able to go out and be self-sufficient. I think, the hunter in particular is, they want to do it all. They want to experience life, the pain, the loss, the recovery, all those things they go through here and now. They want that moment in eternity where they connect with the environment, the nature, the universe, and sometimes it's so intense that it may reflect into that other plane that invisibly supports the plane that we're on. So people really can connect. And that's, in our, in that single target market, really spent a lot of time drilling down on the archetypal hunter. And, the paintings on the cave walls, those people told the stories around 10,000 campfires.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy to go away from the marketing end and go to the compelling end.
Yeah.
When you trigger that primordial, then they really respond to being identified because they're invisible. As we've talked in the past, you have a visible client, you've got to go for it. And I was running ads that were making big promises. And I was running ads that had headlines. It's all about the headline. You'll hear people lecture you on that. It's all about the who, and I run a model, a 3W, who it is, what you say to them, and where you say it. And that really allows me to connect. And the email marketing has just been fabulous for that. Fabulous.
Because you get to connect with people, one person at a time. That's the best.
Well, as you go through your profit activators, you come down. And I have relationships with people. I've spent 3 weeks in safari up in the northern Rocky Mountain Park of British Columbia, pursuing the dreams of hunting moose and mountain goats and bears. Oh my, elk, the whole works, living on a horse for 3 weeks.
Yes.
So it's more, it's one of the things about having real set goals and objectives. Once you reach that, what's next? But the experience of living in British Columbia with the relationships of my very best friends now are so much more than the goal.
Yeah.
Playing the biggest bull moose or, a royal elk. So I think that's kind of an interesting component because there isn't a problem to solve. It's more a want and desire or
that's what
maybe
it is. That's exactly right. I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend this morning. I was telling her about, going to be talking with you. And how, you've got something that is, nobody needs to go on a hunt. It's not something that's filling an everyday, life need kind of thing. It's something that somebody really desires to do. It's an experience. And that's, she, with her amazing brows and lashes, again, it's not a requirement, but it's certainly something that people want to do and they want to spend their money on fulfilling these dreams. So I'm curious about when you opened the business. It's been 20 years now?
20 years.
20 years.
Follow my list.
Yeah. So I look at that and I think, okay, so when you opened up the doors, was how did you get the word out initially? How did you first?
Same thing with the model. What I did was I partnered. There was a store called Gander Mountain. I met them, worked my way to meet different people. Yeah. And I was in 9 stores with giant posters, free giveaways, sign up. I personally was in 51 of the stores.
Yes.
So I really got the ability to reach out. Now, emails, people who did have email addresses 20 years ago, well, companies, they'd have their secretary look at it once a week.
Right.
That people weren't there. So I did a lot with big players in the retail business. Retail's gone as it is now. The stores have been disseminated by Amazon and eBay. And, a gun broker, if you want to buy a hunting rifle, those type of things it's changed. And I was able to fast forward and, get tuned in with you on the emails.
Yeah.
It's kind of there's two things with that mindset and then that psychological edge and the mastery of the tool. Like Luke Skywalker and the lightsaber.
Right.
Not only do you have a really cool lightsaber, but he had the Force, that mindset.
Right.
You do an excellent job of help me see the psychological edge to go with the email.
Yeah.
So from emails, I did shows, so we collected the emails.
Yes.
We go to the big outdoor adventures. They'd have 80,000 people, and we go to the outdoor, throughout the summer and the winter, we would go to the big indoor arenas and do the sport shows where they'd have 10,000 people. I've been to Reno. I've been, multiple times out west, Salt Lake City. So I did that. And then those became, evolved. And what I would do is partner with somebody, maybe a Sportsman's Warehouse or something.
Yeah.
Put up a big poster at the booth they had, collect all that contact. And I would invite those people, somebody be winning a hunt. And that was the way I gave away the hunt. And they did TV shows.
I love that. So there
videos. We go. Oh, it was great. So I have really good videos from, working with a Sportsman's Warehouse, Sports News. And then I migrated into in 08, things changed. We had an economic spin. And instead of reducing the cost actually went up for me. What I did was I went more affluent base to the big Safari Club banquets where they would generate money for their charities. So I donate to charities. And this one was a hunting charity. They would take that money, Rocky Mountain Elk, Safari Club, whitetails, UP whitetail, I did, the local Chamber of Commerce when I first started out. So the banquets evolved into more of they have these live auctions. I'll digress a second. They have the bidding for your hunt.
Okay, yeah.
So I figured out a model on how to do that. And we put a special package. You can only get it at the show. So it's not something you would get anywhere. You get the cast and blast, where you come to stay at Bear Mountain and fish trophy redfin lake trout and hunt wild boar. Go 50 miles out into the heart of Lake Superior and catch the fish. So that would allow them to have something unique, something exciting, something that you couldn't get anywhere else, the cast and blast.
Okay.
So from there, we were then, run it up kind of like an eBay auction. It would all run up. And then we'd have access to all the second place bidders.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
go right up and sell that. Nobody else was doing that. They still don't. So it's a little secret for those in the hunting and fishing.
Yeah, no, you're onto something. Like I always say to people, there's nothing like free kind of triggers our greed glands. It gets our things going where your desire for something is like enhanced because it's free. That's something that is, like if you look at the difference between just putting in your name and your contact information for a chance to win a free hunt, is people will do that at the highest level, right? You get the most people. And that's where we talked about this idea of the turning invisible prospects into visible prospects. Like everybody, you were in the right place at the right time with the right image, that everybody sees this, imagine you could have great imagery around a wild boar hunt and the words just saying that, win a free wild boar hunt. That's a pretty compelling thing that anybody who's interested in that would fill out their contact information because of a chance to win in that. And now you're building a list of people who are visible prospects who are interested in wild boar hunting. That's like so magic. We've used that so many ways. I had a guy in Canada that owns a summer camp, and we built a list of thousands of kids within 2 hours of the camp that by offering on Facebook, win a free week at camp. And it was so amazing. Now, and one of the things, the innovations that we did was we set up a thing to encourage people to refer their friends, right? To encourage other people to join.
Sure.
And so instead of, but naturally, people would be disinclined to let other people in on this because they want to win, right? So if I tell you
Right.
about it,
Right.
that's less chance. But what we did was we flipped that greed gland again by saying, and if you introduce this to somebody, tell your friends, and if they win, you win. So it's now you're, instead of limiting your chances, you're increasing your chances, because if you introduce somebody and they join and they win, you win too. So now it's like everybody's trying to get as many people as they can to do, because it increases their chances. And again, you said, you hit it on the head, that now you've got all the second place people. There's only 1 week of camp that you're giving away, which is, an incremental cost of a couple of $100s for all the food and whatever
Right.
on it. But you've gotten thousands of people to enter this contest, or this
And you
opportunity.
can start educating them. You can communicate with them.
That's it. Now
you can then trip their trigger, as they say. Yes, that's exactly. Yes.
Now
Go
you've
ahead.
got
Yeah,
a
that's
list
right.
of people who are visible prospects, who are interested in the thing that you are giving away, and now you can communicate with them. And that goes a long way in this whole know you, like you, trust you situation. That it's the biggest leap is to go from not knowing you, that somebody they could walk around. I love it. Dan Sullivan always says people are mostly walking around their whole lives hoping they never meet you. I mean, that's really the thing, right? But if they do, now that they know you, it's something that is can be the start of a great relationship, because it's an incremental step from knowing you to liking you, and an even less incremental step from liking you to trusting you, right? So it all starts with getting in front of people and building that list. So
I think that's real important with that single target market. One of the things you really helped me on the mindset was the Facebook. I had worked with other people and I couldn't get Facebook to work.
yeah,
And we had talked through that, and all of a sudden Facebook has been like gold. But my Facebook fans are not my customer base.
right.
And when I market to Facebook, I'm not marketing to the fan page. I'm
Right.
marketing to my customer base. And I think the baby boomers is who I enjoy working with. They're affluent. They've had 50, 60, 70 years to collect money and,
Right.
make themselves financially secure so they can afford to take grandkids, their sons, their
Yes.
spouses, anybody they want on a dream come true relationship
Yeah.
hunt, and that's what we really look at. So that's been my main focus and it's really going well. So the emails have been coming in. I took a little breather there for the hunting season, and I try and get out and connect myself with nature and the wild animals, because I, like to harvest my own. And then I turned it back on, and it's gangbusters, going really well. I can't say thanks enough for the email mastery. I'm so glad I did that. I was what do you want to say, following for years, and then all of a sudden, after the holiday last year, it'll be a year coming up.
Is that right? Wow.
Needed to do this. Needed to do, change over that psychological edge and, pursue the hunting, pursue the lodge and get it going. Now we're doing real well. Things are booking up for January.
I love it.
The thing about the schedule, it's kind of like traveling and laundry. There's soft luggage. There's always room for one more dirty shirt to be stuffed in there. I heard that years ago, and we can always get you in. There's no problem. There's always room for one more person.
Right.
But we're doing our Siberian snow hunts. I think that's a fun way to call it, and the people just love to come up and play in the snow.
Yeah.
And
how have so one of the things that you've been doing, I love the fact that we, cracked the code on how to get the leads by offering, not trying to convince people to do a boar hunt, but to that there are the boar hunts, and here's the catalog. Here's the catalog of options for it. That's just the market data, just the information, a catalog that it's available. So we build a list of people who that's on their mind. And now tell me about some of these emails that because you've really been experimenting with the 9-word emails and sending things out. So maybe talk a little bit about what you've done and what's worked in that regard.
Yeah. One of the keys is sending out what I call the RUA. Are you available?
Okay,
Every month I make an offer.
Uh-huh.
And I don't recall if that's maybe number 4 on your Real Cool Kid Profit Activator.
Uh-huh.
You got to make the offer.
Yeah.
Now, that really, it's crazy because people get all excited and then they drop out. And, because they're not 5-star yet. They're not ready to buy. However, they not only buy right now in the Siberian hunts, because we'll run the snow hunts right through February, the winter ones, we'll have the spring ones. And then, so we're always having that. But you got 3 months to market one individual season, and it works great. So with that, they book for May. May is starting to book up, which is a really beautiful time to be up here. No bugs.
Right.
Goodness. The leaves aren't out. Cool nights, mild days, and you can go. The boars are really fun. So by using that, are you available for the last one was a Siberian snow hunt. I've changed, are you available for a winter hunt? I play with the words, and then I put in a really good graphic picture. And I put wilderness 2023, prehistoric ice age beast. I kind of move it around. And that's the same thing I've been testing out on Facebook, putting that on there, what to put on. Don't say we sell hunts.
Right.
We take you back in time and make time stand still.
Right.
We're going to make you you're going to be, they're going to tell stories about you. Your grandkids will tell stories about,
around the fire. That's right.
Beyond life. For the next 10,000 campfires, you're going to be the hero.
Yeah.
That's to the old and reborn to the new. So that whole adventure is really a fun one to go. So RUA is my code term for that. And I do that. The only problem is my database is so big, I can't send it out all at once. Right. Or I don't get to do anything.
Right.
So I'm still at that, this is the cow story. You're into cows, I'm into pigs. You had the gentleman into the chickens.
Yeah. Did you watch? I was going to tell you. I hoped you watched that one.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So I'm not at the the problem is you have a term for the self-milking people that try and do it all.
Yeah, the self-milking cow, right.
The hunters are kind of like that. They want to do everything, but they don't have the skill set. So now I can give them the butchering or like this weekend we'll be taking the side-by-side out to the hunting blind. He'll be able to stay in a nice heated blind with an office chair to do the hunt because he's too old. To do the belly crawls across the snow-topped ridges and spot with the binoculars. He'll sit in a nice heated blind spot with his binoculars sitting in a chair.
Right.
So that whole mentality of being able to get the systems down and then finding somebody to run the systems in this industry, and I think that's just the way I'm wired. That self-sufficiency of in 1975 I hitchhiked across North America. Off the British Columbia. Just wild and crazy kid.
If we deconstruct what's happened so far, we build this list of people, invisible prospects. You let them know what's available. You've got it. You're making your offers available by setting up the weeks and naming the hunts so somebody can say, yes, I'll have that. You're making an offer to people. And then the repetition of doing that in advance of every quarter. I mean, this is even Juan here, our producer for the studio. We talked about, he's got a list of everybody who's recorded or done anything at the studio here. And, I'm getting him into this routine of sending out an email, which we should do it this week, Juan, before the end of the year, but to send an email to people and say, hi, Greg, would you like to get anything recorded before the end of the year? That'd be a great, just a quick shake the tree thing. If it's on people's minds, that's the thing. And Luba, my girlfriend, does that every month. sends out for her eyebrow studio, she'll send out the email, "Hi Greg, would you like to get your eyebrows done this month?" And we've just had a breakthrough with her because she's got this list of ladies in within a 15-mile radius of her studio. And we've built that list to thousands of people by offering them a free gift card, $100 gift card for microblading. And on this list now, she's got all of these facial machines that are, these machines cost thousands of dollars that do needling and LED light and all kinds of different things I don't even, understand. But and they're kind of things that people would do every month or do, So I suggested to her that the fastest way, because there's a little bit of education around it, people don't know what the machines do. So I suggested to her, like, take your basic facial, like the one that has that used one of the machines that makes a difference right away, and just offer to your list, the people who are on your list, offer for the holidays, say, I'd like to give you a 1 hour, they have a HIFU facial. And so she sent it out the other day and yesterday, and had just people booking these free facials, which, her cost on them is really just the time that she pays the girls who are going to do the facial, and then a few dollars in the material or kits or whatever that go with it. But these facials are $150 usually, right? So it's a high margin thing, but no, now you've got somebody who's come in, you've got their undivided attention for an hour as you're doing this facial to show them about educate them about all the options and about all the things, and then encourage them or invite them to set up, to do a series of facials, or she has a facial membership where you can join for, $100 or $150 a month, and you get, a certain number of facials. So that's all getting just buying their attention and their reciprocity right there, So there's something about just being outwardly focused and knowing that there's certain things that the only place you can experience them are within the confines of a relationship with you. They're not going to have one of these devices at home. Nobody's going to release a hog in their backyard and have that in their neighborhood. The HOA wouldn't go for that. So you've got to come up to spend time with you to experience that.
One of the things in the email, so we talked about the RUA. The other one I wanted to touch on was you have done well with the field reports. The only problem I have with the field reports is it's all forest.
Right.
So what I did went to the forest reports.
Yes.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
And on the end, I can take an adventure that people are on, and I can show that, yes, even you can do this. You can come up and do this on. They get done seeing the pictures. And then I have another key component of the email masteries is the signature.
Yes.
They can go watch hunting video. Yeah. They can go in and get our brochure. Yeah. They can do, hear live, what do we call them? Survivor stories, testimonials of the boar slayers themselves. So they can see the lodge, we have the drones, fly the property. Now, I don't do a lot of that fancy on the website. I went over to the famous Dean Jackson riff of the squeeze page. When you come in, you get a good taste of what it's all about, and then you're squeezed at the end. That's how I get a lot of what I would call the halo effect. I think you call it that.
Yeah.
From the
yes.
And so I have one website that I run with Facebook, Raging Boars. People come over, then they sign up. So I'm pretty sure they're coming over Facebook. They didn't want to click on the ad.
When you're doing ads, that's what people don't understand is the halo effect, I call it, of you're running the ad and people, they don't want to opt in on Facebook there, but they'll click to see who's running this ad, they'll go to your page, and from the page, they'll go to the website, and then from there, they might opt in. So you get all these extra residual value that
Right.
you can't explain it. But I've had that happen, with lots of different ones. And so it's real, that halo effect that you see. So, but what the most important thing is that once you get them to be visible prospects is just communicating with them and observing what they do. You mentioned the super signature. And so just describing the super signature is at the end of the email, we use the words plus whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways or 4 ways or whatever number of ways we can help you, whatever the big benefit is. And we use on those intelligent links, we call them, where if somebody clicks on something, we can see who's clicking on what. So we do this in our real estate stuff all the time. Every link that we send in an email is an intelligent link that if you click on it, we can flag your record that you were interested in this, in a winter hunt, for instance. Even if you don't opt in for it, we see that you at least were curious about that, so that we can steer then to collect and send emails to people who clicked on information about the winter hunt. So all they may need is just an RUA RUA, like you call it. Are you available?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I get that in my inbox.
Yeah.
And it says they clicked on this link, and I can hit the link, and it shows me what they looked at.
Yes.
Was it the video?
Yes.
Or was it testimonial?
Right.
I had a bunch of people hanging. What happens in the holidays is they're so busy with their life. They're not thinking about me, and they really should be. They're not. So then I can hit that button, send them a piece from the super signature, or I've got I'm trying to think if you call it the mafia offer, that irresistible offer thing, and I can send that to them, and it gives them 3 for what's the special this month? What's on for dinner? Is it baby back ribs?
Yes, I love it.
Pork chops? I don't go that far, but it could be. It could be.
I love that whole thing of, Luba this morning is putting the finishing touches on a mailing that we put together for her list that is a Christmas promotion. And it's just in an envelope, and on the front we have the addressee on the envelope is, so let's say that you're one of her clients. It would say, please rush to, is the thing. And then it's the person in charge of making sure Greg Johnson has the best Christmas ever. That's who it's addressed to. So it's not addressed to Greg Johnson. It's to the person in charge of making sure that Greg Johnson has the best Christmas ever at your address there. And then when you open up the letter, it's a letter from Luba saying, if you're reading this, that means that you're in charge of Christmas for someone who's very special to us. And we want to make sure that she has the best Christmas ever. And we're going to make it easy for you because I know that she loves the things. And we've got gift cards that you can buy in any amount up to $10,000. And we'll put it in a beautiful, I love the setting the bar high, right? Like up to $10,000.
Exactly.
And that way it's just so elegant. And there's a QR code that they can scan, and that goes to a video that explains the options of what's available.
I get a lot of wives that have bought hunts for their husbands over the years.
Yeah, so that might be.
I've done. Yeah, exactly. I think I saw one of your information emails on that. That was great. I got on a hard mail kick, back in 2009.
I love it.
And I was sending out 10,000 newsletters. The content's still good. It can be reprogrammed. Boy, that was a lot of work putting that out. I moved away from the hard mail just because of the time consumption, and people have changed. They're now real-time on the internet. Boy.
Love now is a combination, is sending a postcard that you could have a field report type of, or a forest report postcard
Yeah.
with some great imagery and a great thing and headlines like Cosmo magazine, that
Yes.
when they scan the QR code, that it populates this multimedia. You could have a full magazine go to people where, but it's all driven by just you don't have to print up, the field reports
Right.
that we do on Email Mastery are, 26, 28, 30 pages of you don't have to print that up as a magazine or as a report and mail it out. You could mail just the postcard with a, picture of what's inside this postcard and just scan the postcard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
That makes
we did
direct mail
postcards
so much easier.
back in 2010, 2011. I sent out over 1 million postcards. Made a lot of money with postcards.
Yeah.
They had like the Valpak, but for hunting, and
right.
Henry Arms, and all the cool kid stuff was in Sportsman's Guide, and their compasses and axes and wild boar hunting lodges and fishing trips to Canada. And,
yes.
But they don't do that anymore.
Right.
You paid, it was dirt cheap, like $10,000 for 500,000 of them, and then you could drive them to a website, or we drove them to the phone. For the people that didn't want to go to the website, and then we had the Hunter's Adventure Kit with a free DVD, and don't forget the bonus, because you get the bonus too. Yes. Which is the cool kid magnet.
Yeah.
And, it was fun. Yeah,
that's
I like that.
You mentioned
like
Henry. You mentioned Henry. I'm not a hunter. I don't own a gun. I don't have any of that, but I'm very attracted to the way that Henry Repeating Arms does their marketing. They offer the free catalog. You get stickers that come with it. They got a beautiful YouTube channel where they're doing hunts and everything. But they build a great relationship with their, it feels like a brotherhood, kind of like the Harley Davidson equivalent kind of thing, right? That if people, I don't know this to be true, but it feels like they build that kind of fraternity with the people. Did we lose you? I see you.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, we lost me.
No, we didn't.
I don't know where I'm at, but I can hear you now.
Okay, good. I was just talking about
I don't have any.
I was just talking about how Henry Repeating Arms feels like they're building like a real fraternity type of situation.
Where absolutely.
You're part of this family of people that use Henry. And I mean, so I imagine, if you've got citizenships for people or things like, member papers that they're, once they're part of the Bear Mountain Quest, that's, there's something that now they're part of a membership. And there's something about having, like, embracing somebody, like you've been part of the Email Mastery Academy. And if, you recall, it's a one-time membership. So you join one time and then you're a member for life. It's not like renewable, or it's not, you have to pay every month for it, but you get to participate every month for a long time. Right. And so there's just the number of members is just continually growing. So you are part of the, and I think that once you break the gates, once you cross the gates of the Bear Mountain Lodge, that you are embraced into this family citizenship, or however you take it.
I studied the cult branding, the Harley Davidson. We had a fellow that did a phenomenal job on that. Very connected with Archetypal. Did a big thing back with the iPods with Apple, years ago. And no, you're right on that. There's we have our own vocabulary. We make up our words, the Alpha Beast.
Yes.
The Sportive King.
Yes.
Those all come into the packages that you can get. And I put an option on it so they can not have to remember all the words. They can just say, I'll take option two, number two. And I always start with option number one. When you mentioned the 10,000 for Aruba, that would be perfect for Luba, but for us, I always start with my most high price, because if I don't, I miss out on them. Go ahead and ask them. Then I can ask them, is the $10,000 package sound good for you, Dean?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Option
I like
number
that.
one.
If they say yes, then it's a no-brainer. I don't have to say a lot more. If they say, what else do you have?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have the Sport of Kings package.
Right.
That's a reasonable package, too. That's probably our most popular one. So then they don't feel bad about not paying, the 5 times more for another package.
Yes, but you have the option for it. Yeah.
Oh, and if you don't put it up front, then because I started always with the low. What happens is attract low price point people.
Yes.
I want the affluent people that are willing to spend their money to bond with their family and friends. They've got more money they're going to spend in this world. You're going to move on to what I call the grand egress. Everybody's out. Nobody's sticking around in the tent forever.
Right.
And it's really nice to be able to give them that kind of an experience. That I think
if you present things like, grandparents coming with their grandson, or their, generational hunts where they're coming with their son and their grandson, or their son and their granddaughter, or their...
Oh, that forest report works beautiful for that.
They're showing
like weekend photos, and they walk through the photos with, kind of like the old geographic cool wild picture, just a little bit of script down below, then down to the next printed, headline. Yes, Oh, absolutely, Dean. That really works well.
I love it.
We run a kind of the archetypal hunter goes through basically 5 levels. And that first level is the weapon of the hunt. When man first chipped away at a rock and made an arrow point, that was the start of the weapon. And they had to become proficient with it. And, kind of like with email mastery, you have to use the tools. You have to go through and practice before you get good at it.
Yeah.
And you got to have that mental breakthrough.
Yeah.
I think you call that a game changer.
Yeah.
And then it comes to you. Yeah. It's just crazy. So level 2, now they have to come through with the big challenge is life and death. Life can't exist without death. They have both. And it's not fair, and everybody's got to go through it. So then, can you handle lethal force? Can you harvest your own animal that you're going to eat? That's a big step for people. And then, like you'd asked me about as a kid, yes, I had that introduced as a child. And then level 3, to go out and fill the cooler, bring home the liminal lake trout, or to fill the tag and harvest the boar. That's our level 3. And then our level 4, that's the trophy hunter. Guns are too easy. They've already gone back, left the guns behind, and now they're doing archery, and they're shooting the biggest bucks in the world. That's the psychology or a mindset that the hunter has. He's not just providing the food for the family, but he's testing himself, his skill set.
Exercising his dominion over all the animals. Right.
Well, I guess that's one way of looking at it. I think there's a lot of people that don't look at that way. They look forward to, being one with the animal. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to connect with the universe, and that is one way. Then level 5, where they are connected to the universe. They just happen to be on the fishing boat, or they got a fishing pole in their hand catching fish, or watching the kids fish. That's the 5 levels. They got the grandkids. We get families that take the grandkids, and when they're 12 years old, or they're coming up to the wild
rite of
forest.
Passage, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the 5 levels. With level 5 being at the, leaving behind the trophy. Got to have the trophy. That's more important. And again, I think like we commented earlier, the slight discussion about goals. Do you really fulfilled after you reach the goal? Is there a letdown? What's next? Where is it? Well, that's level 5, where you're really connecting with the planet, the animals, the rocks, the trees, the rain, the snow, the heat, all those things come together on level 5.
So what's next? Like, what's the next marketing challenge for you? Where it's been just great to watch you. And, you are participating in email mastery in exactly the way that my intention for people is that, we do 20 calls a year where I'm
Yeah.
there and we can talk about anything, talk about what's going on. And you've been a very active participant. You come on, we hatch an idea, you go and you do it, and you come and report back on the results, and we make adjustments and you dial it in, and then you keep going. And it's been just great to watch your growth through it.
Yeah. Yeah. I had 20 years in the engineering and 20 years in the hunting lodge. Now I'm looking for the next 20. 20-year increments are kind of an easy way to go, get through college and stuff. And I'm thinking maybe the next 3 levels. The hunter goes through level 1 through 5, then level 6, the guide. That's the hunter becomes the guide. Level 7, they become an outfitter where they put multiple projects and adventures together to help people go out and do that. From level 6 to level 7 is the outfitter. Level 8 is the lodge owner. I have this big, huge estate. I have a beautiful setup. I've got a 40 foot slip with a blue water boat, 18-ton vessel. Now I'm thinking about, going to the consulting end again. That's what I did as an engineer. I was a consultant, helping other people, mass marketing and sales. I have a little model called PAM, promotions, advertising, marketing, and sales. So over the holidays, we're taking a couple of weeks off, to do and no hunts. The lodge will be running. I'll have a great place for Christmas and things. And then I'll reassess. But that's what I'm thinking. Moving that next transition, the next paradigm shift from the doer,
That's nice. And helping somebody else who's got a lodge, who's maybe struggling, who's not getting out the word, to help them create a little rocket ship.
The resorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bert, you got the. And I've done both as we call it, both religions, hunting and fishing.
Yes.
I have plenty of people that I've seen them come and I've seen them go.
Yeah.
It's really hard to, without doing the work, without doing the things that you don't want to do, the things that make you uncomfortable. You gotta learn those skill set, and then you have confidence to keep going.
I love
once
it.
You have this.
And then to show others. It's kind of like those same things that you're talking about, the same levels that you've went through is the same levels in mastery of the 8 profit activators, basically. That there's the levels of doing it, and you're at the stage now where you can teach other people, teach others, show other people how you've applied the 8 profit activators to your business, which would help anybody with a hunting, with an adventure kind of lodge.
Yeah, and I have to do it every day, so it's not like something I read in a book.
Right.
I mean,
that's the difference we call them between book reports and field reports. Is that your information is not that you're just reading about it and making these theories about what works. You're actually, this is our field report from running actual Facebook campaigns, and this is our field report from actually running email campaigns. And that's where you've got real applied knowledge from some, not
results.
Just book knowledge, not just theory. Yeah,
the results. I think you are a really results kind of guy.
That's exactly,
and that's what I have is the results now. Yeah,
predictable. And that's the best thing, is if you can duplicate those results for somebody else. That's really where the magic is,
And I've been able to take your path and models. You're a real model builder, and I dreamed up this model here of the hunting lodge. And I think if I can lay that out in a format where people can take it and make it their model, I feel I've been very successful taking your model and applying it to the Moose Man marketing method. And that's really been fulfilling. Yeah,
it's all very exciting. Great year. It's all very exciting. We'll have to get you down to Florida. I'd love to have you come down and come to one of our breakthrough blueprints. It'd be fun to spend 3 days going through that's the equivalent of a hunt with us.
There you go. Yeah.
Come down to the lodge.
Well, very good. Well, it's about that time to wrap up, eh?
Yes. I've really enjoyed it.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I love that. Yeah. Santa, Moose Man Johnson. Greg, where can people go to find out about your lodge and to find out about the hunts and things that you have available?
Oh, we have websites. Raging Boars, just ragingboars.com and ragingrussians.com.
Okay.
Those are a couple of them that are real popular.
Yep.
Autumnrut.com is another one.
Okay.
And they'll have an adventure awaiting them. Go through on the website and then go ahead, and if you're comfortable, click. Or you can send me an email at bearmountainquest@gmail.com.
I love it. Well, I had so much fun, Greg. I can't wait to connect again. I'm sure I'll talk to you on one of our email mastery calls very soon.
And we'll look forward to having you up to Bear Mountain.
I love it. That would be great.